What up, peeps? Your friendly neighborhood Monomachos here, speaking to you on the beginning of the second week of Great Lent. I pray that things are going well for you and it's spiritually profitable. So far, you know, we do what we can do. Anyway, as you can tell from the post above, we just had the other day the Sunday of Orthodoxy. Now, ordinarily, the Sunday of Orthodoxy is, at least in the United States, we engage in what's called pan-Orthodox Vespers. Uh, there seems to have been a flurry of invitations going out throughout the United States, but there does not seem to have been any concelebration of the Sunday of Orthodoxy with any GOA bishops and or metropolitans, as near as I can tell. If I'm wrong, please tell me. Okay, please point it out. But I have been scouring the internet, excuse me, my intrepid followers and myself, and so far, nada, nothing. Uh, anyway, you can read my thoughts on it above, and again, if I'm wrong, correct me. That's not what I want to talk about, though, today. What we are experiencing here in the United States is the after effects of something that I think is just horribly scandalous. And you know what it is I'm talking about. We're talking about what Patriarch Bartholomew has done single-handedly, unilaterally, and scandalously in the Ukraine. Now, we've already discussed several issues. There are several layers to this onion, unfortunately, all of which are in complete disregard for proper Orthodox ecclesiology. I'm not going to rehash them here. You can go back and read them for yourself on previous posts. I do want to pivot off of something, though, the most recent thing, which is pretty horrific if you ask me. And I want to thank our correspondent, Greatly Saddened, for pointing this out. 3 days ago, Greatly Saddened, in his own inimicable way, put out a comment, and he highlighted it. And the first one was the response of Archbishop Anastasis of Albania, a primate of the Autocephalous Church, to Bartholomew, the Patriarch of Constantinople. And as you know from back in October or November, Anastasis went out of his way to try and mitigate the situation, going so far as to say that while everything that has happened is bad, we cannot break Eucharistic communion. And there were reasons, and you can read for them yourself. I didn't necessarily agree with them, but I saw that it came from a good man with good intentions. Well, last week he wrote another letter which was far more pointed. Again, he prefaced it with, communion is good and we need to commune, but he was very startled by the confluence of events that have happened since then, since October. It's just gotten worse, progressively worse. You can read Greatly Saddened's post to read Archbishop Anastasios' letter directly. I'll post it at the bottom of this video. Well, about a couple of days later, Patriarch Bartholomew wrote a scathing response, which basically told him, shut up and do as I say, although in more pious and ecclesiastical terms. You can read that as well below. I was offended. I'm not Albanian, obviously. I'm not a member of the Albanian Church, but I was offended that one bishop could speak to another bishop this way, much less one primate to another primate. It was just horrible. Not good. Not good people. And it told me several things. One of them being that he's losing control of the situation, Bartholomew. Okay. The other thing it told me is that Crete, which I affectionately call the Cretan Robber Council, is essentially a dead letter. Because in his response to Anastasis, in addition to what he did in Ukraine, he violated the norms and the protocols and the remembrances of Crete. As you know, one of the things that has really bugged me about what Bartholomew has done is he's come up with this novel idea that, the be-all and end-all of Orthodoxy is the Mother Church, which is Istanbul or Constantinople, which of course is not the Mother Church. The Mother Church is Jerusalem. Fine. But then he goes on to say things like all autocephalies outside of what happened to the ecumenical councils are provisional. In other words, they can be revoked at a moment's notice. This, of course, is a scandal in and of itself. And it also gives the lie, to the protocols of Crete, which Crete, in the preamble, you read it, it's each local church, autocephalous church of the 14 churches they recognize, not 15, which would be the OCA, are autocephalous. There is no provision. There is no autocephaly but. Okay. Autocephaly but is autonomy. Finland, for instance. Okay. Japan. So, Ukraine. Yes, folks, there is a legitimate, canonical, autonomous, fully recognized by everybody church in Ukraine. And is headed by Metropolitan Onufrius, a man who nobody can find anything bad to say about. So, Bartholomew is caught, unfortunately, and forgive me for saying this, in the web of his own fanaria deceit. On the one hand, he says this. On the other hand, when it's prudent for him, or imprudent, but expedient, he says this. Then he modifies this way, and he modifies this over here this way. And when somebody brings up something from Crete or a previous time, it's like, oh, no. This is not good. This is something that tells me, if you see it in an institution, or even an individual, you're looking at somebody or something that is on the verge of a nervous breakdown, a mental collapse. Now, I'm not saying this is what's happening to His Holiness Bartholomew. No. I am saying that this is what's probably happening to his church. It is caught in the web of its own contradictions. On the one hand, it's conciliar. On the other hand, it's quasi-papal. On the other hand, all bishops are equal, with him being the first among equals. On the other hand, all bishops are equal, with him being the first without equals. You can't have it both ways, folks. I don't want to go into anything more because I've already said things that are hurtful and could cause scandal to others, especially those who are in the faith and those who are considering the faith. So I'm going to leave it here for now. I ask that we pray for each other. Pray for our bishops. They need it. Pray for Bartholomew. He needs it. Pray for everybody concerned. Pax vobiscum. Let's try to love one another. Adios.